if you're listening, you can try. Just go on Lovable.
Yes.
And just ask it to build you an Airbnb clone for Nigeria. It will build it in 15 minutes. Some companies are now saying, we just need 6 people. The CEO, a co-founder, human. And then you have head of growth, head of products, maybe CTO, and one more person. Just have someone, because for customer support, AI can actually do it. You might just need someone who is the head of that department, a human. What that means is they don't to build applications. They have to build themselves. If I want to run an experiment, I wouldn't need proof of concept or MVP. I run my tests. I get my experiment results. Do we build? Do we not build? As I speak to you with Lovable, the first 3 months, if I remember very right, close to 100,000 applications
that has been built with
if not more.
My goodness.
And I'm sure it's nearing 1 million already.
But does that not also then create a situation where many people are building products, but they're not building solutions?
The new MVP would be the main application itself, because a Lovable or a V0 can build a web application in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Full stack.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Data and AI Gist. My name is Ade-Akanbi, your anchor for the Data and AI Gist. For a couple of episodes now, we've been talking to professionals in the data and AI space in Nigeria to tell you about what really it means to build in this space, right? You get to learn about processes, personal success stories, personal failure stories as well, and a couple of industry conversations. And even with realities of data and AI in today's world, we hear from the direct leaders, people that have actually built solutions in this space. Today, we have a very interesting guest that we have brought for you to hear from him. And he is Michael Okeje, who calls himself an AI Nomad, which I will be getting right into that to say, what does that mean? But he is a growth expert. Nice to have you here, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip.
All right.
Glad to be here.
So again, for our listeners, our viewers, like, follow, share, to anybody that you think, these episodes will be useful for, and, let's all just learn together. So, Mr. Michael, do you have a nickname we can call you before we get started?
Michael.
Okay.
Michael is fine.
So Michael is fine.
Yeah.
Who is Michael before we even get deep into conversations?
So you mentioned 2 things. I think Michael is a growth expert.
Oh, yeah.
And recently I've become, I wouldn't say, very passionate about AI. And I think it's the right time. So I called myself, as you rightly said, AI Nomad. In the past 10 years though, I've been working within the growth space, growth product space, working with growth companies. Product companies, product driven companies. And my job has been to grow revenue and grow users. So I've played within that space for some time. So if a part of it is marketing, but then there's data analytics, then there's forecasting.
Yeah.
Then there's just being able to understand when the copy makes, profit and loss.
Yeah.
Just understanding, and also understanding sales and business development. So it's cut across some of this and just saying every aspect.
I think it's starting to make sense where the nomadry comes from, but we'll get right into that.
We'll get.
It's even direct to say, you are skilled on a lot of things, which is incredible. But before we, go into why you even call yourself an AI nomad, what would you say has been the determining factor for you to actually learn these multiple skills and pulling it all together?
Okay. We have something where we say, in Pidgin, you say you don't sit, they sit down for one place. I think I'm like that.
Yeah.
My head is just,
love it.
And I love to learn. I think, I love to read. I love to, I love trends. So when I see something is coming in, something new is about to happen, I want to have an idea.
Wonderful.
I'm back in my school days. Even before I joined the universities, I started reading statistics, economics, and my dad used to have a lot of books. So I was just reading different things, health. So I could tell you if I go to the hospital and I take note of what the doctor has said. So if you tell me the next day, so I know why the doctor would ask you if you've eaten, if you're vomiting.
Yeah.
And I know how to lie.
So that sheer curiosity.
Yeah. So I know when I get to the doctor, I'm telling him I'm not vomiting because I don't want injections. When I tell him I'm vomiting, then it makes it, I'm probably going to puke. So I learned from those and I just take it to heart. And then gradually when I am asked questions, I can just talk about different things because I'm just learning everything.
Yeah, you
and
have
learning from people.
A plethora of knowledge base.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just then ask now, what is AI nomadry? Why do you call yourself an AI nomad? What does that even mean?
That name was given to me by ChatGPT. So I told it, summarize everything I have done.
Wow.
Give me a name. And it says AI Nomad. And I said, okay, a title rather. I said, why? And then it says from the nomadic word, because I think from my input into ChatGPT, it knows I'm asking for accounting AI, law AI.
So it's like,
okay, this guy is not focused on one thing. Just call him an AI nomad. And that's how that name came. And then I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So I added it in my title, AI Nomad. So, I mean, it makes sense because I am not sitting in one space and just saying, I want to build for this.
Yeah.
Is how can AI solve several problems? And that's the space I'm into. That's where I think I thrive. I mean, interestingly, before we had the session, I was just speaking to someone who said, I was speaking to her about a PR stuff. She's interested. I'm saying, oh, shoot, we'll do it together then.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So that's incredible. You already mentioned a couple of things that sort of indicates what your interest was to get you to AI, but to just expand on them, what really, or what more things got you interested in AI in itself?
The fear of becoming irrelevant.
Nice one.
Yeah, that fear.
I love when people are not trying to, say something fancy, because this is actually the reality.
No, it's the truth.
It's a very good thing to think about.
It's the truth. And I look at myself, I'm like, will I be useful in the next 5 years? Will I be useful in the next 10 years? And trust me, I know we'll still get into it. AI will kill a lot of jobs. Yeah, and I'm being realistic. I know people say, oh, it will kill, then create.
Exactly.
But we are in that space where it's going to kill first. And then it starts creating.
So necessity will then give birth to the innovation that will start to create new jobs, because jobs have been taken away.
Yep.
Thank you very much. So in your exploration of AI, what has been the most, some of the biggest revelations that you've had, based on your nomadry on AI?
The biggest revelation is, like I said, I hinted before, AI can do anything. Literally anything. AI would, I think the biggest revelation is, like I know I mentioned earlier, AI would kill jobs, but then I can provide some details into what I'm saying. So what would happen is, you're a support staff, you're a customer service staff, and I don't mean to be, you are likely to lose your job if AI would likely take your job from you. And this is not to scare you, but it's, and I hear people say, oh, the people who use AI, but the truth, but the question you ask is, if AI would do 20 people's job, you only need one man to man AI to do 20 people's job. So what would happen to those 20 people?
Yep. Very true.
However, what would happen, and I think the revelation and what I'm saying now is, in the nearest future, what would happen is, if it's taking AI to generate the revenue of what 20 people would do, companies would rather hire 20 people who do AI to do 20 times. That means 400. Yeah. So, you've not heard, you rarely hear of companies when you say, okay, I had one person, or there's a tool innovation that has come in, and then I've increased my sales from $500 to $2 million. It makes sense to just hire more people, because your capacity can do $10 million within the same time frame.
Yeah.
So the revelation, what I see there is, first, AI would kill. Because it's come, I know it's been there for some time, but then it also come as a surprise, like the speed at which things are moving.
Yeah. Every new day, people are pushing the edge.
Yeah, and then you are telling people who are already in several fields or industries where AI has not been a big thing, to having to go learn. Imagine, lawyers have to use AI, doctors have to start thinking, health tech have to start thinking, how do we use AI?
Yeah.
And then it's changing. So at that time, it will take time for people to gain their education. And by the time people are they understand it, they are literate, AI literate. AI literacy will take some time. And after some time, when it starts picking up, then you see the boom. So yes, AI will kill jobs, but then that boom is coming. So AI will also create a lot of jobs. Yeah, because then there's a lot of money to be made. It's just like when computers came in, right? People use typewriters.
Yeah.
First, it took some time for people who use typewriters to get to use computers, but then computers have now created a lot of jobs. So it's the same.
Yeah. And I can imagine when the computers were going to come in, people that were typewriters or work with with those machines would probably be afraid and probably even raise a union to say, you guys, you're not going to take our jobs and the likes. But look at what it has actually become, which is actually a very good mindset to also have in relation to today's reality. And I think people are catching up now, especially in Nigeria, maybe in other parts of Africa as well. Conversations are currently ongoing. Organizations are understanding that their employees learning about AI is important, right? Just some recent time that one of the courses that we created at Decision Spark was bought by a bank in Nigeria for their entire staff members. So imagine their staff member probably gives output of 200. Let's put a figure to it. Now with this capacity that has been increased with AI, and they understand they can now do 400, right? So that means if they have 1,000 staff members, 200 times 1,000 staff members gives them the outputs. Now they have 400 times the 1,000, and it just spreads like that and booms them. So that's really incredible to see that, organizations are waking up also to these things, but we need to spread this thing more, actually. So let's delve into something that is more of your specialty, which you are an expert of, which is generating revenue, right? In your time, in your experience, in your work as a specialist that generates revenue, you're a growth expert. How have you seen AI come into that space? For any audience out there, any viewer out there that wants to also replicate same, because I go to events and I have conversation with people and they're always sharing. So, okay, I'm a salesperson. How can I use AI to make better things or help my career? Everybody learns that AI is coming, so everybody wants to be better and prepared as well. So what can you share with us?
Yes, I can. I think in my previous job, towards the end, before I left, AI became the last 12 months, I'll say the last 8 months, AI played a major role. Even basic stuff, ChatGPT, I was able to analyze data and then forecast. So, as a product person, you also know, we have, what we call customer lifetime value.
Yeah.
Average revenue per user.
Yeah.
So you want to know how long it will take for the customer you've acquired on day one to generate revenue back to you.
Yeah.
Yes, you can use some Excel, do some calculations, but then there are a lot of things that fluctuate. Now, what AI can do is it can look at that data, look at historical data, combine them, analyze. Now you don't even, it just replaces your ML person because it's doing your linear regression and the likes, and then it tells you in the next two years, you should continue getting revenue from this person. Maybe you should get double your CLC, your customer lifetime value to acquisition cost is 3-to-1, which means you're making 3 times more on that customer. Or if you're at a loss, if it tells you, okay, from this acquisition channel, it's seen these behavioral signs, and then soon this will drop. So AI played a major role. And what did I do? I mean, just upload your shit and then just prompt it. It does the job for you. Again, there's parts where you need to understand how to prompt, right? And that's what the new language will be. Whether it's for coders or for anyone.
Yeah.
Prompt.
I've heard a CEO say, I can't remember which CEO, but of one of these big tech giants, that English will be the new coding language.
It's a natural language. It would be, developers will not need to do Python, JavaScript anymore because AI can do that. Why spend time doing it? Just tell it what you want.
So we'd have that Iron Man kind of situation where you're just speaking to Jarvis, do something.
And it's not something that will happen soon. I already showed you tools I built. Like, it's just natural language, no coding. And then it built applications that can even get, enterprise application in the future. Yes, it can.
Interesting.
Maybe not now, but we are getting there for enterprise application. So I would say, it's also that space where I've just prompt and then it delivers. Again, there's a skill to it, but then once you do it, AI understands what you're looking for and then can provide accurate data that you can use.
Can you give us like an example of what a typical prompt that you've used previously looks like, where you've uploaded a sheet, like you mentioned, and what exactly do you then say to that chatbot to give you these things you've shared, just on the surface level?
So you need to understand first the data you've uploaded. You need to have some information about it. So when I uploaded the sheet to ChatGPT, and then I have to give a lot of explanations to ChatGPT. So one is, this is weekly numbers. This is the price, the cost we are charging users. Now, I can say when there's a drop on October 2023, maybe there's a significant dip in that revenue number. I try to tell ChatGPT what I think happened. If I don't know, I will say I don't know.
Okay.
Because it shouldn't see it as, because if you don't do that, what it does is it sees it as a regular occurrence. But if you're not sure, it might see it as an outlier and then maybe take it off that
the
case.
Decision is made based on that.
Yeah, then if you say it's a technical billing system, you had this issue, you didn't run marketing campaigns in this month, or you had a partner this month that gave you crazy numbers, and then this happened, and then ChatGPT takes that because it's a model, right? So you need to train it.
Yeah.
And your prompt you need to take time. I call it product people say user story. I say, you need to write a story.
Yeah.
You need to let ChatGPT know.
Yeah.
And that's the prompt. Being careful with prompt because you're giving it several information, as many information as you have about that data, give to ChatGPT. Right? And it knows how best to place them. You're not doing it manually yourself, so it knows it can take those. You take that information and then it. You're just training it, and then it can give you. The result is almost going to be accurate.
Okay.
If not, what you see is it starts giving you crazy numbers, and then you're wondering, why is this number? We've never made this type of revenue. It's not making sense. So you need to go back and then prompt it to say, okay, this is what happened so day. And also, one thing you should do is don't just tell ChatGPT to go ahead. Tell it, based on this data, ask me questions. Be very critical.
So that it can also even understand
like,
more.
Why did this drop? Yeah, so because you might miss some things, you need to tell it. You need to ask me questions. Look at this data, and when you see some anomalies,
conversational AI anyway, so it's supposed to be as if you are speaking with your line manager or your data scientist and the like.
Yeah, ask me questions. Yeah, then it asks you. Then it's easy to can tell you, there's a trend here. It noticed this last 6 months. Did anything really happen? And then you feed before it gives you the actual data.
Awesome. But to talk about something that has been on the rise lately regarding data privacy, you mentioned, things like putting your data into a ChatGPT, for example. Does that not present some data privacy concerns, or how can people go about that without revealing any sensitive data about their organization?
So for data privacy, so I think with ChatGPT, you can, from your settings, personalize and provide what information they should get, right? But you also have this feature in ChatGPT where you have the temporary chats that can invisible, more like your incognito
mode.
Your incognito mode. So you can use that.
Okay.
Again, the other thing is you can as well play smart, and if you're really worried, you don't need to put the name of your company.
Yeah.
Just give it if your name of your company is Binta, just say Codex or something. Just give it an arbitrary name, and it runs with that. And even if you have partners, just give them. The key thing is you understand the logic. If Facebook is Y, Twitter is X.
Yeah.
You already know it's saying Twitter did well than, X did better than Y.
Yeah.
Either the numbers might not make sense. The numbers will make sense to ChatGPT if it's not tying it to a particular company information. So yes, you can feed that and then just,
because that's very necessary. So people don't take their company's data and just take it directly and upload and, for data privacy concerns.
Yeah, rename your columns. Just rename your columns, rename everything. Okay. Be aware of what is happening and then upload. But I would think ChatGPT has a lot of privacy. I'm sure they follow that very well.
Okay. So I think you've touched a bit on this next question I'm going to ask, but if probably you've missed anything that comes to mind that you'd like to share. For sales and marketing professionals, I don't know, I'm just particular about them in my conversation with you. How do you see them expanding their skill sets with AI? Because I think you have some expanded experience working with them. You also have probably worked in the growth space generally, and for you to grow, you have to sell. For you to sell, you have to market, right? So how do you see them expanding their skill sets to be able to use these AI tools, use AI solutions, to achieve better success?
First thing, they should learn prompt engineering. How to prompt. We said it not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like, that is the basic. It's what you feed. Right? You should know how to prompt. AI can do your growth for you. You can analyze. AI can do your marketing strategy, can do your sales strategy. AI can even scrape platforms and the web
Yeah.
and deliver to you customers and emails already. So it can do that. You don't need to sweat so much. I think you just need to all you need to do is to know how to prompt it. You want to do a marketing strategy. Don't just tell AI, develop a marketing strategy. What is the goal of the marketing strategy?
Yeah.
What are you trying to achieve? What budget do you have? Just provide as many information as you can provide.
Yeah.
Data points to AI.
Yeah.
And it will craft. Because
True.
now you're very specific. You have a lot of information and you see the difference. Don't just say create a marketing. I mean, it's just going to give you something generic. Like it will give someone in the US. If possible, if you're doing it in Africa, also include some nuances.
Okay.
Why Nigeria is different from the US if you're targeting Nigeria. So it has.
So he also understands that context.
That context. You need to have those nuances. It needs to understand. Yeah, to say. And if there are challenges, I mean, AI is your friend. I mean, joking. I used to tell people, am I the only one who tells the activity, please do this for me? How are you?
The CEO has told you guys that you are wasting water with saying please and thank you. That he doesn't care for that.
I mean, but I'm just trying to tell you
are
how
used
much
to it.
You've become a friend. I mean, you've become your friend and your partner. Like it's just getting things done for you. And and sometimes I say thank you, right? I might not know. I'm unconscious. I just say thank you. And
so I think it makes a lot of sense because it's conversational.
It's conversational.
Right? So it feels like you're speaking to somebody or you're texting a friend and it's giving you a response and it's a very useful response.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
No.
Okay.
Right.
So the next question I was going to ask you is to move a bit away from the regular AI conversation, ChatGPT and the likes. So let's talk about bringing it into our own reality. What strategies have you seen work in startups in regards to data and AI in your work across many companies you've worked at, or the ones you know about as well?
Yeah, the first, which is not. I think maybe the first outcome, which I would say is not, might not be pleasant to hear, is you hire very less. You don't need a massive team. And so as a startup, as a founder, you can actually have your co-founder AI, an AI agent. You have your CEO, AI agent. You have your HR manager, AI agent. So what that means is you have a suite of tools or agents working for you. And that would, some companies are now saying, we just need 6 people. The CEO, possibly a co-founder, human. And then you have head of growth, head of product, maybe CTO, and one more person, maybe HR admin. Just have someone, because for customer support, AI can actually do it. You might just need someone who is the head of that department, a human, who every other tool should be done. So yes, and the other thing why it's even key is because they don't go on leave. They don't go on sick leave. They don't fall sick. They would work 24 hours if you ask them to work 24 hours, and the cost at the end of for everything might just be $50 a month. And they'll deliver. No mental breakdown. You know what I mean? But that happens because we are humans, right?
Yeah.
So that's the
no burnout.
No burnout. It's just working. It will never burn out. But then, so that's what I've seen. I've seen companies now re-strategizing and saying what are the core roles we need to fix.
Yeah.
Secondly, your growth and product team will become technical. What that means is they have to build, they wouldn't require the CTO to build applications. They have to build themselves. So if I want to run an experiment, I wouldn't need, we're talking about proof of concept or MVP. I wouldn't need to say, the tech guy is like, I have a lot of work I'm doing now. They have sprints. The sprint is in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I can just use Lovable, turn it up, build 15 minutes, it's delivered me my MVP. And then
so even turnaround time is swift.
I run my tests. I get my experiment results. Do we build? Do we not build? And if the city is still has a lot on its plate, we just build.
Here's what I also think that such would even create. Imagine what you just explained. A typical startup probably needs like 10 people. Maybe it's a big project they're working on, say 20 people. What you've explained is like it needs 5 people and each person has 20 staffs, but they're AI agents. Like
they're AI agents, yeah.
Right. So that means the 15 remaining people that would have been in that organization what should actually happen in the real case scenario that I am hoping for is that they also are able to spread out and be able to impact and create even more solutions, and more problems are eventually being solved or going to be solved, right? So instead of people looking at, oh, this is just one startup, and this problem they're solving is what I want to be involved in, other people will be able to create more startups,
themselves,
tackling more problems in a society, because we are never out of problems. The more you are even creating some solutions are actually even leading to some problems, which is a flaw in human-centered designs, right? But that's not what we're talking about. So imagine those 15 more people being able to create startups or even join into, like, there's now five each, and they are all tackling different problems in the society. That means that society will blossom. And I'm saying that because I want to let the audience also, even the viewers also, know that it's important for us to start to reshape our thinking to these situations, to these technologies, because yes, we are looking at this one door that is closing, but there's so many other doors that are actually opening up as well that we can actually make open up, right? But we just need to reshape our mindsets to these things.
And what would happen? And like I said, I mean, we said that boom, AI boom would happen. You'd see a lot of
so we've never
founders.
Gotten there.
We are not there. A lot of founders. As I speak to you with Lovable, I can't remember the number, but I saw I think the first 3 months, if I remember very right, close to 100,000 applications
that
has been built. If not more.
My goodness.
And I'm sure it's nearing 1 million already. I mean, personally, I've done 36.
But does that not also then create a situation where many people are building products, but they're not building solutions?
It would. But then, what it does is you can learn fast, because you build, it's not working. You don't need to, it's low cost. So you're not,
so you can experiment on the go. You know what works, you know what doesn't work, rather than, you have a tech team, you guys spend the last 6 months building out a feature, and you launch it, you realize it doesn't work. You have to go another 6 months to go and build another feature, or iterate or tweak
quickly. So we talked of MVP, right? I don't think MVP will be a word. The MVP we used to think of before is just a one-pager, let's just see if it works.
Yeah.
That will not be MVP. I mean, that was not be the new MVP would be the main application itself. Because a Lovable or a V0 can build a web application in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Full stack. Like, you just type, I mean, if you're listening, you can try. Just go on Lovable.
Yes.
And just ask it to build you an Airbnb clone for Nigeria. It will build it in 15 minutes. In the past, it would have taken you maybe 3 weeks. I mean, you find a developer, then you now have to do the PRDs, you now have to share. All those would stop. It's not there anymore. So it's just 15 minutes. Lovable, and these AI agents are your product managers, and then they are your developers. And then you can churn out applications quickly, which means what will take you 3 weeks, it takes you 15 minutes for maybe $20 a month. Not $3,000 to build that, and then you can literally build an app every day.
I love what you shared about that faster turnaround time on R&D, research and development, where you can see what works, you go back again, you tweak. But again, Michael, I'm thinking, and I envision a world where we would all get to, and there won't be this many mobile apps. What do you think?
Mobile apps?
Yeah, or apps generally, because everybody can tell a chatbot to build apps, and the apps come out, right? And there's now many apps. How many can you use at once, for example? So I'm now thinking, would there be some sort of aggregation in the nearest future? It's just something that I just thought of to say, what would that then look like post, delivery of these many apps that people are building or trying out with these tools? I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I don't know about what will happen then, but what I know is a lot of apps will not be used, because it's not, you mentioned something, people will just be product and not solutions. So you have a lot of people just building, right? And no solution out of it, and they get frustrated. Then they go dust their certificate 9 to 5.
Oh yeah,
here we go, or just work with a company. So that would happen, because you have to apply a lot of critical thinking to things like this, in terms of building. Else, you might just also, you just be frustrated when things don't move well. However, I think if we look at, I think a lot of businesses will see a lot more businesses come up, a lot of online businesses. It's like Instagram. When Instagram came up, when it started, and then a lot of, we know in Nigeria, people sell on Instagram. Yeah. People sell on WhatsApp, and it's increasing. Yeah. So I think this is what would happen. A lot of people will now be able to have apps. I don't know what the likes of Instagram would do in terms of integrating with it, but I think by the time other enterprise software start integrating, there'll be need for people to do more. And people still sell.
I do know a couple of people that even say things like social is the future, where a lot of things will then be even done on the social media apps. And you tend to see it. You see WhatsApp today, people do business on WhatsApp, right? But when they started out, it was just a tool that you just used to chat and you are good to go. So it's now becoming, you now see a situation where there's a chat bot on WhatsApp. When I saw that they were going to launch that feature, I was like, damn, this Mark and his team are actually...
Meta AI. Those guys are coming big. Yeah.
Because the share distribution that offers them, before I go to openai.com or chatgpt.com or gemini.something.com, I'm already opening my chat and there's a Meta AI that I can ask anything and it gives me a response similar to what I would get.
And people use it. And then they would improve it. They will improve on what they currently have.
Impressive.
Yeah. I mean, they have the users already. Yeah. They have the users already. So, yeah.
For me, I love the democratization of it all, because as it is getting into more aspects of our lives, it becomes undeniable at some point. So, and I think that is why it is necessary for people to start to catch on now that people are preaching about it, because CEOs are thinking about these things.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to optimize processes, make more money, and even the career professionals want to even do more as well.
Yeah.
I know many people that say they just want to learn it so that they can even go make more salary because they're able to do more with their existing skill set. So imagine you've been in the media space, for example, and you go learn of AI, and you're able to do more as a media person with AI than you would do with a traditional person.
Yeah.
As a traditional media person, you know. So those are the ways it tends to stack up for career growth as well.
It's crazy. It's crazy what would happen. Yes, and people should not think it's not metaverse. It won't fail. AI is here to stay.
Oh yeah. Oh, interesting. So let me then ask you, how do you think companies can start to integrate AI into their workflows? Because I know that you are involved in a couple of you've worked on a couple of ideas, you know, regarding that. So, we've been talking about how it would actually happen, or how the fact that it would happen. But let's talk about how it would actually happen. So how would they actually integrate these things? So for a company out there that might be listening, a CEO might be listening to this, and he wants to do that, what should he start to look out for?
To integrate AI into
their existing
workflows. And okay, it should be practical, right?
Yeah.
If I can provide
as best as possible.
As best as possible. So yes, one is he has to have a team that can actually build AI agents. I mean, he or she, right?
Oh, yeah.
The founder should have a team, should have people that can build AI agents. Why? Is because AI agents can take off a lot of repetitive tasks. So for social media, AI can do that. Can post every day. It does the content development, does the content calendar, post, does the image. I mean, yeah, maybe not perfect here, but tools like Sora, even ChatGPT, they started doing some graphics.
Because I was going to even ask you that, how do you actually then build those AI agents? Because we hear agentic AI agents and these things. So like, what are the things you couple together to make an AI agent?
And I can get there. So I think people mistake when you hear AI agent, and it's because when you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you're hearing Anytime, you're hearing Make, you're hearing Zapier. Yes, they're all AI agents, but I think an AI agent is any tool that can help you do repetitive tasks, whether you build it yourself. So even on Lovable, for instance, you can build a web application, and the web application, every day you have someone posting, AI posting, doing the blog post. That's an AI agent. Its job is to get the blog post, write it, and then post. And you can, a lot of platforms like Lovable, V0, you can actually build internal applications that can do that.
Okay.
Anything it's different. It's like Zapier. So the way it's like Zapier, how Zapier works is you can have a Google Sheet and then you connect it to your OpenAI endpoints. I'm trying not to be very technical. So OpenAI does have an endpoint where rather than use the ChatGPT screen, there's something that fits ChatGPT. It can let you connect to it. It's not difficult. Directly. So you just need to download the API key. And the key is what you now submit to Zapier to say, okay, every day, and with Zapier Zapier, I want a blog post. So every morning at 8, you have a scheduler. You can pay Zapier. What Zapier does is it calls the OpenAI to say, okay, you've not written the blog post for today, write it.
And you've given the OpenAI the topic or the
about your blog and things you should do. So it's going to research what to write about your blog. So you're an e-commerce store in Nigeria. So every day it's going to check for fashion stories. It will do the research. You don't worry. AI can do that for you. They write the blog post and then submit it to a Google Sheet. Or if you use WordPress or use some web application, you can post directly. You just link it and you don't really need to you are not connecting anything. You just connect. You just tell. I mean, it's very visual.
Yeah.
You just say this, and then you plug the notes. And then AI knows every morning at 8 a.m. it's supposed to do this, and then it posts. And so that's what it does. You only now need to train it to give you better results. So it's not generic AI results. So that's one way. But then tools like Zapier, tools like Make.com, tools like Anytime, can actually be that they automate. So the job of AI agents is just to automate things for you. So you are not consistently doing it yourself. So you can actually run a news website without having to write any story because it's just going to do everything and publish.
So that means you as a person, as a professional, are able to then focus on more strategic things.
Yeah.
So, okay, this news that I'm writing, that this AI agent is writing for me, how do I probably ensure that it gets to the right audiences, and a couple of other strategies that you then have time to think of.
Which AI can also do for you too. Scary too. But yeah, the strategic part, it can actually do it for you, and faster than you, because it's been trained and it's been trained on a lot of data. So you are just a man, just saying, you're not even a pilot. You're just saying, okay, what do you have to do today? And then you direct it so that it's not.
So what then would, I know you've shared a great deal about what, AI would do, just in probably like a summarized version, to also like, carry viewers along, what would then be the job of the humans in this first place, apart from telling the AI what to do? Or
so
that would just
the human
be
would become. So I would still an aspect of, one thing product managers do, and which requires a lot of critical thinking. So the job of the human is to ensure the results are right.
Yeah.
And I told people with tools coming up, developers will lose their job. I mean, they've built this tool, but they've just built an enemy because they would lose their jobs. I mean, you wouldn't find a lot of developers doing a lot, but you see a lot of them now becoming product managers.
Interesting.
Because now they need to know why this tool should be here, why this button should be here, why this button should be here.
Software engineers, so if you're listening.
Software engineers will become product managers because why will I pay you to code when AI can literally do the coding? I mean, AI can actually do a lot now. But then you can imagine what would happen in the next 3 years.
Yeah, and I feel people are actually, even the parts that are not good enough, I feel people are actually actively working to make it that good.
They are training it. It's taking a lot of information now. Even you're building Lovable is taking input from it. It's training itself. So it knows. So AI is training itself to give you better outputs. So at the end of the day, people like developers will be focused on that. And humans will be prompt people. We'll go back to that. You just prompt. So every human should just become a prompt engineer because it's what you feed it with. If not, because that's the basic, that's the foundation.
Yeah.
The first thing to do is you have your conversational, all of them have that conversational button, and then people type in. It's the same way, even though I respect Google, I just feel whenever Google is second to anything, they most likely will ruin it. That's why I don't understand why they're playing in this AI space. Gemini came after ChatGPT, but I still don't think Gemini would.
But there can be debate for that because Gemini, I've seen stories a lot on Twitter, X, that Gemini is actually very, very useful in the kinds of ways they use it because it has been actually trained on more data points or deeper context and a couple of things.
I mean, where they were doing is because, a lot of people would use Android, so they most likely would have access to Gemini. A lot of people who use Google already.
Yeah.
Google Search.
So I do remember when I use Google Drive, it now tells you cannot.
And Gmail.
Right.
So they have a lot of tools that would require.
So you would not even actively need to go do the AI agents.
You don't need to go into the AI agents. But then I think the point also is if you look at it, everybody has the new behavior is that conversational AI model. In the past, when people go to search on Google, you want to do a research, you search for best shoes in Nigeria. It gives you a list. Now you need to pick the site you want. You check, you don't like it, you close. You go to another one, you don't like, you close. That might take you maybe 5-10 minutes to research. But you go to ChatGPT or Gemini, you ask a question. What are the best shoes in Nigeria? And then it asks you, are you looking for shoes like this, like this, like this? Then you say yes. So it switched from that. Is it transactional? Maybe not transactional. I mean, whether you're doing informational search or transactional search, but now it's very conversational. So AI, the behavior is going to be very conversational, which means you need to talk. I mean, not literally, but you need to type, you need to feed information. So what that means is your information is as good as what you feed it is as good as your results.
It's even in the data science world, we say it's like garbage in, garbage out, and I think that's still what is translating into
so
this world.
It's GIGO. It's literally that. Yeah, that's what it means. So yes, at the end of the day, humans need to be very good at prompting. Because that's the future. Like, prompting.
And I feel as this thing even starts to get democratized, you have it every aspect of your life. You know, there's the Meta glasses now. There's things on your wristwatch, on your wrist. You
voice
can
prompting.
Say, do something. You know, this thing is recording something, or you are seeing something. Like, it's really, really been, it's getting into all aspects of living.
And then AI is going to take, so I don't know if you saw these glasses. I don't know if it's a Google glass. I think it's Google's.
Okay.
Where you've come into a room and then, I mean, you didn't really say anything. You just, but it's aware of where you are, and then you say, what's that long white thing just by the side? And
I saw
that's
the demo.
An air conditioner.
I remember now.
Because it's memorizing, it's training itself, and then it memorizes everything for you. You don't have to put it in your brain.
I saw that demo,
Yeah, and then you can be like, okay, who got into the room while I was not there? Say, a Jude entered the room. Who walks here?
Man, the future would really be interesting.
Yeah. And they did a demo, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is scary.
I saw the demo.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michael. It has been really incredible chatting with you. And this is the Data and AI Gist. As you know, we've been gisting on artificial intelligence and its daily life usage. He being an AI nomad, his use of AI in every aspect of life and across industries, across situations as well. And he has shared incredible insight. So if you think this has been useful, helpful, informational, share with your colleagues, share with your friends, share with everyone you know that would find this very useful for their career, for their job roles, for themselves as well. Before we go, Michael, we ask our guests this question often, that looking at all you've shared with us and the conversation we've had so far, you've had an incredible career as well. What are the things you have done early on in your career that has set the motion for what you do today, that has helped you while you're in the career, even now that you're still in the career doing what you do now? And how has that just really helped you so that somebody out there can learn from your story?
Okay, so I'll say this. Know one thing very well. Know a little bit about every other thing. So know one thing so well, and then try and get bits of information. Don't be disinterested in anything. Like, just get some information about it. Just read something. Read about 3D printing. Read about whatever. You don't need to be master at IoT. Just know one. Wireless. Just know one so well. Then the rest, you just need to have an idea. That was what worked for me, because I never really thought I would even do. I mean, I used to be a developer, a web developer, and then I went into marketing because SEO was part of website, and then marketing became my thing for like 10, 11 years.
Wow.
And then now I'm moving into AI, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not interested in this part anymore. I do revenue. I think know one thing so well, and then try and know a bit of other things. I wouldn't say know everything. You can't keep them at the same. Just know one thing so well, 100%. The rest, you can give 20%.
And that's a very great advice, because once you know that one thing very well, you can then, any other new thing you learn, you can pull its application into that one thing you know. That is impressive advice. Thank you very much, Michael. It was great chatting with you and gisting on the Data and AI Gist podcast. So again, share, like, follow our content, and we will be back with another guest for you on the Data and AI Gist. Thank you, and we like to say, keep questioning and keep being curious, because that is where you can actually achieve your success in your career. Bye for now. My name remains Philip Ade-Akanbi. Cheers.